What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today we got a new game mode in Idle Heroes, the Mystic Domain Descent. You can see it in the top right, is now in game. It is in fact a completely new game mode that the Age has launched, and it was announced during anniversary. We just didn't know. That it was announced during anniversary, because what they did was they had this game mode over here, the Omen of Battle. You guys remember it. I saw a lot of complaints where people were like, what even is that? Because you got those 3 quests and you had to spend resources towards it. And of course, for some people, that was something where they said, well, it's not really worth it for me. I spent like, I don't know, Prophet Orb or a core or something, and I get some meager gold reward and some info here that I can't really see anything with. And some people said, yeah, it's going to be a new Void boss. In fact, that is the new boss for Mystic Domain Descent, and the minions around it are minions that you are going to fight in this game mode. So this is in fact pretty cool, because it's a lore event for this game mode. The Age just forgot to tell us that it is, which is hilarious. Hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. That is no communication, backfiring at its finest, just zero information about that. And yeah, so now that the game mode is no longer in the game, it's actually pretty cool. So we can see that this is like the lore. We got the minions there. We see a little bit of an ethereal realm style thing there. And now this is actually also in game. We can check it out right here. The thing you want to do right now is the sign up phase, which is the first phase of this game mode. You want to select one of those war zones and sign up as soon as possible. We can see there are already players signed up below. Personally, I'm in the Turmoil Pit. There are differences to those areas. Specifically, there are debuffs. Warzone debuff in this case is 50% control immunity and 100 speed that you are losing, which I thought was the easiest to handle, because even if the enemies CC a lot, we have ample ways to deal with it, like PDE or LBRM, or even some of the other artifacts that also include control immunity. So we can do something against it, or even Meddling Core. Whereas we have in the Azure Wilderness, we have a 35% attack debuff, a 25% all damage debuff, and a 50% crit damage debuff, which is just such a huge damage loss that I'm just a little bit uncomfortable betting on this being the best. This, in my opinion, could only really be the best if the enemies do a ton of CC and, well, not a lot of damage, I guess. Because you really take away your opportunity to take them out fast by reducing your damage that much. Then we have this one, is a little bit more balanced. HP minus 35%, attack minus 25%, heal effect minus 50%. This is like, I guess, the safest bet. If you go into this, you are fine anyway. Even if they CC a lot, it's not a big problem. You have a little bit less attack, a little bit less HP, a little bit less heal effect, which I guess is alright. The bottom one really destroys your defenses. Damage reduction minus 40%, all damage reduction minus 25%, and the armor minus 50% is going to hit hard. So I would go either into the Turmoil Pit right now or the Eastern Battlelands. I think those will be the easiest debuffs to handle. Wouldn't go into Azure Wilderness, where the most people are right now, and wouldn't go into Lake Pluto personally. Both of those seem to be a little bit difficult. If you are, well, an account that isn't that strong, doesn't have a ton of treasure train and stuff, I would rather go into Eastern Battlelands than Turmoil Pit, to be honest. Because if the enemies CC, established accounts will have an easier time handling it than newer accounts, whereas newer accounts can probably take this and be fine. So, that being said, we also got a ton of info on this over on Discord, and I want to show this to you guys. We have the in-game information here. One thing that I want to point out there, the new boss is going to be named Hyperstructure Archdemon Amalgam. That is the dragon that we saw at the beginning, this one in the middle. That is the Hyperstructure Archdemon Amalgam. Pretty cool design. I really like it, honestly. I think it's pretty nice that they went with like a unique new design for all minions and bosses. This is something that I also mentioned in one of my videos that I did a while ago about good bosses. I think a unique design is part of it, and they definitely hit that in my opinion, so pretty cool. And then we see the duration of the phases. So we have the sign-up phase right now for 7 days. Then we get into purification for 14 days, skirmish phase for 5 days, and then the decisive battle phase, my god, 2 days. This one will be the phase where we fight the actual Archdemon Amalga. And then we have the auction phase. We're going to look over this. The Age has posted information on it. We have it right here. Thing is, for whatever reason, they decided to make those screenshots Chinese. I've actually gone ahead and I've thrown all of those screenshots into ChatGPT and had them translated, so we can go from this right now to this, which is a little bit easier, I guess, for us to understand. There may be some errors though, due to the way that we did this. So if you see some artifacts that that ChatGPT added to the picture, or some text doesn't really fit, be aware that this, of course, even though it is English, is not the final version, and may very well be different or a mistranslation. So, that being said, let's start into the info. The void collapses and gods and demons manifest. Monsters from another world have shattered their shackles and arrived on the idle continent. A fierce battle is inevitable. The brand new gameplay, Mystic Domain Descent, is about to begin. Assemble immediately, idlers, get ready to reunite and resist the powerful monsters. We have also prepared a sneak peek for you. Come and check it out together. And of course, we are going to do this. We have the new Mystic Domain Descent symbol here. This reminds me of the dragon monster, I have to say it. We already talked about Mystic Domain Lords and Hyperstructure, Arcdemon and Malga. Gameplay rules, we have the phases here again, and then there is something interesting that I nearly missed. Players from Android, iOS, Huawei, platforms, etc. will be matched together. So it seems like all official platforms will be matched together, which could mean that Amazon is also included in this. And I thought this was very interesting. The OGs on this channel, on the other channel really, they know that we had an Amazon series on the Amazon Idle Heroes server, which is a separate platform. It has some very cool features, but we went there, we did an account, we did Awakening session, we had some very cool things going on. And this was always separate, and they had their own Awakening session, they had their own stuff, so it was very, very interesting. They never really connected that to the official platform, so I'm very curious to see if this is going to be a repeating thing, if they're maybe even going to join our auction house, because at that point we're definitely going to sell some copies and it will be quite fun. But so far it seems they will be included into this new game mode, so that is the thing. For the beginning, we of course already know we have to register for one of those war zones. What I didn't mention is that you can freely switch in between them. So if you say, okay, I already registered for one, you can still say, okay, I will switch to another for as long as this first sign-up phase lasts. Then we go into the purification phase, and this one can either be a solo campaign or a joint campaign. We don't know much about what the advantage or disadvantage of either one will be, so we'll have to explore that when the gameplay starts. You will use a resource called Campaign Stamina that will refresh daily. We have the symbol right here, it's still the shield symbol. And it will be used for exploration challenges in Mystic Domain Descent, and can be obtained with daily refresh or purchased by gems, so probably some kind of stamina at the top that we can click on and also get that way. We will get resources for defeating enemies and also a resource called Merit, which is kind of like a point, I think, in the system, that in the leaderboard within the event, kind of. So they say later that it also makes you get more loot, so you kind of want that definitely. For the first picture, this is the translation that we have right here. We can see on the left side we have daily quests. We'll see those in a later picture as well. The surrounding buildings, Pillar of Justice, Observation Post, Dimensional Gate and Strategic Command can be upgraded within this game mode, and they will all provide buffs. We will later on see the buffs for the Dimensional Gate, which pretty basic, but that's it. We have a War Council there, and many elements honestly point a little bit into the direction of Force War type-ish game mode, where it is now less about fighting other players, but more about like working together and defeating this boss. We see the areas, Disturbance Mine, yeah, okay, the translations are a little bit bad, but the interesting part is below it says control, and they say that once you defeat enemies in there, this control level will rise, and eventually you will be at 100%, and at that point you unlock special challenges that you can do, and you can fight hunters, which will give you additional rewards. That can be something we can see right here. We have the Hunter Challenge token, will also daily refresh, and we will purchase with gems. And we have two things right here. First of all, the loot in this one that I also translated. There are a few interesting things here. I will first point out to the left side. We have the faction faith, so there seems to be a faction that you join, which reminds me very much of Force War. We have the player count, in this case it's 52, and the rank is currently 2, so we see that. The top right, we see a resource that was not explained by DH yet. And I also didn't give any info on that, and usually they add those as emotes to their server so that they can include them in text. They didn't for this one, I have no idea. Might be the resource, well, it isn't the resource to challenge the hunters, so it's a bit weird, I don't know. We'll have to see about that, but what we see down below, of course, we see the loot. We see it's abnormal hunt trial level 10,001. The level 10,001 is also included in the original picture, so that is not a mistake by ChatGPT in this case. It is included in the original picture as well, so I'm very curious to see if this is really going to be level 10,001. Enemies. We see, due to an influence of an unknown energy source, an abnormal area is torn open within the battle zone. You must proceed with caution, and as this area may have significant impact on the control within the battle zone. And we see the rewards, diamonds, and then we see Grimoire essences. So we see all Grimoire essences up to the newest book in there, which I hope when they release the next book, they're going to add those to that and not leave us with the game mode that doesn't give that loot. But it will probably be, yeah, I think it's the first really good way to obtain those resources outside of AFK stages. So this is basically now our Grimoire game mode. Going back to a very long history of the age, usually giving us a game mode to get the new power creep, which kind of was lacking for Grimoire, I guess. So very, very good, actually. Might be an interesting way for you to get more Grimoire essences, and if you get all 3 of them, that is a massive power boost, probably with every single fight. We also get to see the Elite Hunter trial. I think they made a mistake there, honestly, because they showed the Hunter Challenge token, which looked a little bit like the Crystal of Transcendence one, which is this one. Bit tough to see there, but it says that this is used to challenge the Mystic Domain hunters, but in the picture itself it shows the basic stamina resource, so I don't know if that's going to be the thing. It says players defeated 1, we see it has an HP bar, it looks a little bit, well, like your Ethereal Realm, because Ethereal Realm in the background, you see the UI is very, very similar. We have this explore button also in the normal Ethereal Realm. We have a pulse search, which whatever that is not explained yet. We have the map exploration, we have the fox. This is very, very, very much so Ethereal Realm. There is no sigil, however, yet specifically for this game mode. So if you wanted to summon for a sigil, you either have to wait, or we'll have to find out whether this is just using the Ethereal Realm sigil. That is something that we probably will find out, and I will keep you informed on this channel, so definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. But we can't see too much yet. It has loot. It seems to have a magnifying glasses button to check out the abilities, which I like. And we see on the right side also that the team is very, very similar. So we have a team that we can select and move around there. So also very similar to Ethereal Realm. And for the next, they introduce us to the Warzone buildings. We saw the 4 buildings around the main map. And those buildings provide buffs and can be upgraded, and when specific buildings reach certain levels, the Warzone Council functions unlock. Players can then vote on tactical directors, so seems to be a little bit of democracy there, where everybody can vote on which direction or which tactic to choose to win this. We'll yet have to see how this really works out in the gameplay. The buffs, however, look like this. Really not too interesting. It's 1% attack, 2% HP and speed. A pretty big amount of speed there. There is a contribution ranking, so players will be able to contribute some kind of resource to it. And I want to point out on the left side, we can see a little bit more. There are quests. I don't know how well ChatGPT translated this. We have a daily quest there. We have battle zone quests. And all of those seems to give us resources. So these seem to be able, or it seems to be intended that you play it every single day, quite like in the same way as you had in Force War, where you also got your daily tasks that you want to do. The rewards for those quests are included here. 3 battles, we get gems and we get merit. Once again, merit is rather important for the loot that you get later on, so you want to get as much of it as possible, and there seems to be the option to do your daily missions and get a lot more merit that way. We have to see how this plays out in comparison to like fighting the boss, for example, how much merit that is going to grant you, and by that we can then see how important the daily missions are. But I guess for the first completion, you want to make sure you do this. Then the age describes the skirmish phase here. When a specific control level is reached, the event will enter the skirmish phase and open the Mystic Domain Lord Challenge. You can do challenge by using Domain Lord Challenge tokens, which are those red ones over here. And you will receive challenge rewards merit based on the percentage of damage dealt. So we can see damage will be important. It will be important how much damage you can deal to the boss. We don't know yet if this is going to be capped. I hope it is not. A boss is no fun if the damage you can deal to it is capped. I hope it's not a weird boss. I hope it's just like find the great team and then defeat it or fight it. I hope it's something like that, honestly. I don't want to see some weird stuff there. I don't want to see like in the realm clash where the balloon is doing more damage, the zeppelin is doing more damage to the boss than you do. I want to see just like a real boss that we can fight, that is tanky, that does damage, that is mean, and where we have to find the great teams. I hope it is like that. For the picture, looks like this. Keep in mind, it translated is as rank disciple. That was translated as faction before. So it's the same. It just says rank on this one, faction on the other one. We have to see what it really turns out to be. We have anomaly expeditions there that we can see, alliance expedition, solo expedition, tracker, and then the secret realm demon, which is mystic domain lord, what they mean. So we there have basically those expeditions and the boss, and not too much info other than that. And we basically get very little info on the boss phase. Once time progresses or all Mystic Domain Lords are defeated, the hyper-structured Archdemon Amalga will appear. Players from all Warzones will fight together. The final weakening level of each Warzone will affect Amalga's strength. Defeating it grants generous rewards, some of which will be reserved for the auction phase. So there will be basically rewards that everybody gets, and then there will be rewards for the auction phase. We don't know yet how this really plays out. Is it like, okay, everybody fights against this boss, it has tons and tons of HP and can't really be defeated? At that point, the Age must really be careful with bugs, because there were some bugs recently which allowed you to deal a ton of damage. If the boss is one-shot, that it would be a disaster, honestly. I will have to see about it. We have to see what happens there, or if the damage you can do is limited in that fight. It would also be uninteresting, to be honest. We then go into an auction phase. So again, we unlock specific rewards before, and then we go into the auction phase. The challenges are done at that point. At that point, it's only about basically auctioning off rewards that were dropped by the boss. Then we have the auction first handles Mystic Domain Lord rewards individually, or rewards for Lord are auctioned together. Amalga rewards follow the same rules. So there are rewards that you get immediately. There are rewards that are unlocked by getting a certain amount of damage on the boss and will then go to the auction house. So basically, is it a pay-to-win element? I don't even know. It unlocks a certain auction. For the players, for that, this is interesting. This is something for free to play. This is like no content at all. The last part, we have to see how it really works out. I want to show this picture because the thing is, it will look very cooked on my AI pick, but it does also look cooked on the original one. So I just wanted to mention that before we get into this. The first two are SSS puppets. We talked about those a little bit because I bought like the entire stock on the anniversary event. They are not super useful. I just want to mention that. They have like, is it 1 million starry? If they auction those off, there is really use for them if you want to make an X tier. They are good for that. Keep in mind you can't retire puppets, so there is no way for you to get like contract starry from it, so that inherently makes them worth less than normal heroes with like an SSS ranking. Those are really only good if you want to fulfill an SSS requirement, which you really only have on X tiers. For the S and SS, you might use those also for upgrades on heroes if you want to soul perfect them, but this is also huge waste of starry gems. So this boss seems to be more catered towards whales, the biggest and biggest of whales. And then on the left side, there seems to be the smaller enemies too that we saw on the initial picture, and I want to point that out one more time. We do have it. I hope it's the right one. Yes. We do have it right there. So those are the smaller enemies that we also see and that we fight. And those also seem to trigger separate auctions, so we can see that those will also be relevant, and there will be some loot probably with like a lower rarity than SSS puppets. I don't know what's going to be. Maybe it will be interesting. It will certainly require you to have some starry gems. This is of course not a huge problem. If you want to have some starry gems, you can always just click the link down in the description, go over to SG Hub and get yourself super cheap starry gems. 80 to 90% discounts are possible there, no problem. Best source for you to get starry gems without getting scammed. I know there are some scams out there, but not over, and SGUp can guarantee you that. So definitely check that out. Get yourself some cheap starry gems so that you're ready for this new game mode if you're a spender. Then we have only one last paragraph that is not visible in this video right now. Okay, had to change OBS a little bit for that. Reward settlement. Successfully challenging one side will grant the corresponding rewards. We saw that already, so the good more stuff and everything. Ranking will also be determined based on the merit obtained, so do your daily quests and then damage to bosses, as we saw. Corresponding rewards will be distributed via mail based on the final ranking, so there are ranking-based rewards that they haven't shown yet. I hope there's a cool frame or cool avatar or something in there. I like that. Also, the cumulative damage dealt by individuals to Hyperstructure Active and Amalga during the decisive battle will also be counted towards the rankings, granting the corresponding leaderboard rewards at the end. Probably this will be the phase that has the most impact. Players within the same Warzone will also receive Warzone rewards based on building upgrade levels, control level reduction progress, boss challenges and other aspects. So everybody wants to make sure that they are active in their Warzone, in the same Warzone. And there are even more details waiting for others to explore and discover firsthand. The brand new Mystic Domain Descent gameplay will launch across all servers simultaneously in the near future. It is live right now, as I said, so you definitely want to check that out. And we are already on there. But from what I can see, that is all the info we have right now. The only thing you want to do is you want to go in there and register. Will be kind of interesting to see the player numbers overall, because we no longer really have like a any relation to the player numbers in this game. There's not really a good way to track this, but this actually shows them, so everybody, we can see on the last day how many people registered. That will be quite fun. Till then, this is all I can tell you about Mystic Domain Descent. I hope this helped you a little bit, having the info on your hand. I hope if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, that is the most important part. And if you want some starry gems, check out SGUp. Other than that, I wish you a great day. Tomorrow, I'm going to post a video on like the Reverie gift boxes. So if you're curious to see what I can pull there, then definitely check out tomorrow. And well, hit the subscribe button to not miss it. With that, wish you a great day. See us in the next one.